I'm 27 years old, living in a small town in Maine since I was a child. I've always lived in the shadow of my older sister. Sophia Ava is 3 years older than me and has long been considered the golden child of the family in my parents' eyes. She's the perfect role model, beautiful, accomplished, and always the one who knows how to make people admire her and me. Emily, the dull little sister who was always compared and never quite good enough. The relationship between Sophia and me has never been smooth. When I was a kid, Sophia was always the one soaking up all the attention. If I got an A on a test, Sophia would show up with an honor roll certificate. If I asked to hang out with friends, Sophia would go out with her boyfriend, and my parents would forget all about me. Ava was the center of our family's universe, and I was just a satellite orbiting around her. But things started to get worse when Sophia married Ethan. Lucas was a successful man 4 years older than Sophia, and he made it clear from the beginning that he didn't want kids. He said this up front when they started dating, but Sophia convinced herself she could change his mind after they got married. She kept telling herself that Ethan was just saying that, and that he'd come around eventually. They got married in a lavish ceremony where I was asked to be a bridesmaid but was forgotten amidst the endless congratulations for the bride and groom. Ava beamed in her white wedding gown, laughing like her life was a fairy tale. I stood beside her holding a bouquet and forcing a smile. 3 years later, Sophia's marriage began to crumble. Lucas remained firm on his stance that he didn't want children, and that became the source of endless arguments. Ava, who desperately wanted to be a mother, started to unravel when she realized Ethan had no intention of changing. She said to me one night as we sat on the porch, "Lucas is selfish. He only thinks about himself. He doesn't understand what it's like for a woman who yearns to hold a child in her arms." Just sat there not knowing what to say. The truth was, Sophia had known all along that Ethan didn't want kids, but Sophia always believed she could change everything from her husband's wishes to the entire family's perspective, and when that didn't work, she started blaming everyone around her. One morning, I got a call from Mom. Her voice was filled with frustration. "Do you know what's going on with Sophia? Lucas has filed for divorce." I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Ava always put herself in these dramatic situations of her own making. She wanted a child at all costs, but Ethan refused. And now the entire family was blaming Ethan for not giving Sophia what she wanted. Mom wouldn't stop complaining. "Ava is falling apart. Her whole world is collapsing. You need to be there for your sister right now." I sighed, feeling the weight of it pressing down on my chest. Why did I always have to clean up Sophia's messes? Why did I have to take responsibility for decisions she made herself? After I hung up, I looked in the mirror. My tired eyes stared back at me, and my dry lips were pressed into a thin line. I couldn't help but ask myself, this time do I really have the strength to be Sophia's lifeline again? When I announced that Liam and I would be getting married in September, Sophia's first reaction wasn't to congratulate me. Instead, she raised an eyebrow, her lips pressed tight, and looked at me as if I had just stabbed her in the back. "Really, September?" Ava sneered, but her eyes were as cold as ice. "You know, that's the month Ethan and I officially got divorced." "How wonderful. You chose the very month when I lost everything to celebrate your happiness." I clenched my fists, trying to stay calm. "Ava, I planned this before I knew about your divorce. It wasn't intentional." "Not intentional." Ava cut me off, her voice sharp and accusing. "You're always intentional, Emily. Your whole life you've tried to outshine me. You've always wanted to prove you're better than me." Her words pierced through me like a knife. Ava stood up, storming off, leaving me drowning in a wave of guilt I didn't deserve. A few weeks later, I got a message from a distant relative. "Caroline, did you really ruin Sophia's marriage? Did you really convince Ethan to leave her so you could take everything?" My heart clenched. I had no idea what they were talking about. I never interfered in Sophia and Ethan's marriage. We weren't even close enough for me to have any influence over Ethan's decisions, but the rumors kept spreading. Ava had told the family and relatives that I was the one who destroyed her marriage. According to her, I had secretly met with Ethan, confiding in him about how much I wanted to have children before she did. She even fabricated a story that I mocked her for not being able to keep. Her husband claiming that I whispered things to Ethan that made him so miserable that he decided to leave her. One afternoon, while I was trying on wedding dresses at a boutique, Mom walked in, her eyes red and puffy. "What did you do, Emily? Did you really interfere in your sister's marriage?" I turned around to face her. "Shocked, Mom, I didn't do anything. I never talked to Ethan about their marriage. I avoided mentioning the divorce entirely because I didn't want Sophia to think I was mocking her." Mom sighed, her hands trembling as she placed them on my shoulders. Ava said, "You texted Ethan, encouraging him to leave her so he could be free." She said, "You bragged about how you'd be married and have kids before she ever could, Caroline. How could you do such a thing?" I felt the ground beneath me give way. Ava hadn't just lied, she was actively trying to paint me as the villain. "Mom, I never texted Ethan. I don't even have his number. I've always tried to stay out of that divorce. I don't understand why Sophia is lying like this." Mom closed her eyes, letting out a heavy sigh as if trying to keep herself from breaking down. "Ava is hurting Emily. You have to understand. She's lost everything she has. No one left. You need to have compassion for your sister." Compassion. I was supposed to have compassion for Sophia while she was turning me into the villain in front of the whole family. Why did everyone always demand that I understand Sophia, that I should be the one to sacrifice and step aside? I decided to confront Sophia. I drove to her apartment where the same flimsy curtains I once helped her pick out still hung in the windows. The door opened and there stood Sophia, her eyes red and swollen. What are you doing, Sophia? You're telling everyone that I ruined your marriage. Do you really think I would do that? Sophia crossed her arms over her chest, her lips curving into a bitter smirk. You didn't do anything. Then why did Ethan leave me? Right when you started planning your wedding. Why did he say he wanted freedom, a fresh start? Right when you and Liam announced your wedding. You're imagining things, Sophia. I didn't say anything to Ethan. I'm not the reason he left you. Oh, really? You've always been jealous of me. Your whole life you wanted what I had, and now you have it. All the wedding, the love, the happiness. And I've lost everything. You're lying to yourself, Sophia. Lucas left because he didn't want kids. You knew that before you married him. Don't blame me for your bad decisions. Ava let out a cold laugh, her eyes icy. You'll pay for this, Emily. You'll see everything you have slip away, just like I did. I turned away, feeling like each step I took was crushing the remnants of a sisterhood that once existed. I knew this battle had just begun. Ava wasn't just trying to ruin my wedding. She wanted to destroy my entire life. One June afternoon, while I was going over the guest list with Liam, my phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. I took a deep breath and answered. Caroline, we need to talk. Mom's voice was cold and stern. Can you put everything on hold? I frowned. Put what on hold? The wedding. I think you should postpone it. Mother said each word like a knife stabbing into my heart. I stood there frozen. Postpone the wedding. Why for Sophia? Mom said quickly. She's falling apart. She just lost her husband and now her little sister is throwing a wedding. It's like rubbing salt in her wound. Have you thought about how Sophia feels, Emily? Bit my lip, feeling a numbness spreading through my body. Mom, I planned this wedding before Sophia got divorced. I can't just postpone it because she couldn't keep her husband. Don't say such cruel things, Mom, snapped Ava. Is in pain. She's been through so much. Can't you wait a few months until things settle down, Mom? I closed my eyes, trying to keep the anger from boiling over Nathan. And I have already put down deposits, sent out invitations. Everything is ready. I can't just cancel it because Sophia doesn't want to see her sister happy. You're so selfish. Emily. Mom sighed. This family raised you, loved you, and now when your sister needs you the most, you're only thinking of yourself. I stayed silent, every word caught in my throat. In that moment, I realized I would never win against Sophia, no matter how wrong she was, no matter how much she lied, no matter how much she destroyed. She would always be Mom's favorite. The call ended in cold, bitter silence. I put the phone down and looked at Liam, who was sitting beside me, his eyes full of concern. Are you okay? He asked, his dark eyes searching mine as if he could pull me out of this pit of despair. I'm fine, I said, but inside I was shattering piece by piece. In the days that followed, I tried to reach out to Mom, to Dad, even to Sophia, but no one answered. Every call fell into a void of silence until one afternoon when I came home to find an envelope sitting on the table. The sender's name was Mother. Inside was a handwritten letter, her shaky handwriting slanted as if she had written it in a state of distress. Caroline, I've thought long and hard, Dad, and I have decided not to attend your wedding. Not because we don't love you, but because we can't stand to see Sophia hurt and falling apart any further. You know, she's lost everything, and you're living the life she always dreamed of. I hope you understand. Don't hold it against me, bum. The trembling words cut through me like a knife. My heart pounded in my chest. My parents, the very people who should have been standing beside me on the happiest day of my life, had chosen not to come, all because of Sophia. The wedding day approached, each hour dragging by like sand falling through a heavy, suffocating hourglass. I forced myself to keep it together, to stay strong for Liam and for the friends who had shown up, but inside I was crumbling. When the wedding day finally arrived, I slipped into my white gown, the delicate lace hugging my body. My face was perfectly made up, but my eyes were empty as I walked into the reception hall. The chandeliers cast a soft glow over the beautifully decorated tables. Nathan's friends filled one side of the room, his family seated with smiles and warm embraces, but on my side, only a few distant relatives showed up. The rows of empty chairs stood like silent witnesses. To my parents' absence, I forced a smile as I walked down the aisle, my hand gripping Liam's tightly. He looked at me, his eyes full of love, but all I could feel was the emptiness swelling inside my chest when the officiant asked, "Who will give this bride away to the groom?" Silence, a heavy, suffocating silence. I looked around, searching for my parents' faces, but all I saw were empty chairs, unfamiliar eyes, and forced, polite smiles. Nathan squeezed my hand, then nodded to his best friend. Owen Jordan stepped forward, placed his hand on my shoulder, and said loudly, "I will stand for Emily." A single tear slid down my cheek, soaking into the pristine white fabric of my gown. In that moment, I realized that family isn't always about blood. Family is about the ones who stay not, the ones who walk away when you need them most. 3 years after the wedding life With Liam has finally found its rhythm, we move to a small but cozy house in the suburbs of Boulder. Every morning I wake up to the sound of birds outside the window and sunlight streaming through the curtains. A kind of peace I never had when I lived close to my family. My relationship with mom, dad, and Sophia completely disintegrated after the wedding. I no longer speak to them. The occasional check-in calls gradually stopped and eventually disappeared. Instead, I focused on building a new life, a new family, and a new sense of self. Nathan remains my steadfast rock. He never brings up my family, never asks if I want to reconnect. He just listens as I recount the pain of being abandoned on my wedding day and holds my hand tight whenever I can't hold back the tears. And then the good news came. I found out I was pregnant after months of waiting. Nathan lifted me up and spun me around the living room. He kissed my forehead, his eyes shining as if he had just received the most precious gift in the world. From now on, our family will have a little angel, he whispered, his voice filled with love. I decided to share the news on social media, a simple photo, Nathan and I holding the ultrasound. Picture our smiles, unable to hide our happiness. I didn't think Sophia and my parents would see it. I had blocked them long ago and moved to another city, but less than an hour after posting my phone. Rang the name flashing on the screen stunned me, Mom. I stood still, my hands shaking. Nathan looked at me concerned. Do you want to answer? I shook my head, but the phone kept ringing. Finally, I sighed and pressed the answer button. Caroline, Mom's voice came through, emotional but still cold. I saw your post. You're pregnant, aren't you? I tried to keep my voice calm. Yes, oh my God. Emily, that's wonderful news. I'm so happy for you, Mother said. But I could hear the tension in her voice. Thank you, I replied shortly, hoping to end the call as quickly as possible, but Mom wasn't going to let me off that easily. You know, Sophia has been trying to have a baby for 3 years. Mother, continued her voice slow as if she were choosing every word carefully, but the doctor just confirmed that she can't have children. You have no idea how devastated she is. I closed my eyes. Why should I care? Ava had ruined my wedding, turned me into a villain in the eyes of the whole family. Why should I be concerned about her now? Caroline, Mom, said her voice suddenly soft, almost pleading. She's in so much pain. Have you thought about letting Sophia be part of your baby's life, like a second mother? Maybe it would help her feel like she still has a family. My eyes shot open, unable to believe what I just heard. What, do you mean you and Sophia are still sisters? This baby is Sophia's niece or nephew too? She needs to feel like she still has a role in this family. Let her be involved, help with the baby. It would make her feel less alone. I can't believe this, I said, my voice trembling. You're asking me to share my child with the woman who tried to destroy my life just because she can't have one of her own. Mom sighed. Caroline, don't be selfish. Ava has lost everything. At least you still have your husband, your family. You can't just leave your sister out in the cold like this. I've been left out in the cold my entire life, I snapped. Do you remember my wedding day? Do you remember how you and Dad abandoned me just because Sophia felt hurt? Do you remember how she spread rumors that I ruined her marriage? And now you want me to let Sophia play second mother to my child? No way, Caroline. You don't understand what Sophia has been through. No, Mother, you don't understand. I've been through enough. From now on, I won't let anyone, not even Sophia, interfere in my life again. I hung up my hands, shaking. Nathan came over and wrapped his arms around me. You did the right thing. He whispered, you don't owe them anything. I nodded, but my heart was pounding. I had said what I needed to say, but I knew Sophia and Mother wouldn't let it go that easily. 3 months. After the tense phone call with Mom, Liam and I decided to go out for lunch at a small cafe near our home. We were enjoying the peaceful moments, his hand gently resting on my belly as a reminder of the little angel growing inside me. Do you want anything else to eat? Liam asked, his warm smile making me feel safe. As long as you're here, I have everything I need, I said, leaning my head against his shoulder, feeling more secure than ever. At that moment, a familiar voice called out from behind. Caroline, is that really you? I turned around and froze. Mark, Sophia's ex-husband, was standing in front of me. He looked different, his hair shorter, his appearance more rugged and worn out. Mark, I said awkwardly. It's been a while, Nathan. Reached out his hand to shake Noah's, his eyes cautious. Hey there. Noah nodded, forcing a smile. Mind if I sit down? I glanced at Liam, who gave a slight nod. Mark pulled out a chair and sat down, his eyes holding a hint of sadness. I heard you're pregnant, Noah said, his tone gentle, but with an edge of something deeper. Yes, I answered, keeping my tone neutral. And you, how have you been? Noah let out a bitter laugh, his eyes darkening. Ava is still telling everyone that I left her because I didn't want kids, isn't she? I stiffened. What do you mean? Mark picked up his coffee cup, swirling it around in his hand. She's still going around telling everyone that I walked out on her because I refused to have a baby. Right? I nodded. That's what Sophia said. Everyone believes that you rejected her. And that's why she fell apart. Mark let out a hollow laugh. I've kept my mouth shut for 3 years, thinking it was the best way to protect Sophia's reputation, but now I realize she's been using me, turning me into the villain all this time. Nathan frowned. What are you talking about, Noah? Mark placed the cup back on the table, his eyes burning with a fire that threatened to expose every lie. The truth is, Sophia stopped taking her birth control without telling me. She tried to trap me with a baby to force me to stay. My heart pounded in my chest. I stared at Noah, unable to believe what I was hearing. Are you serious? Ava actually did that, Mark? Nodded, a bitter smile playing on his lips. She admitted it during a fight. She said that if I wouldn't agree to have a child, she'd make the decision herself. Ava had been off birth control for 6 months, hoping to get pregnant without my knowledge. Mason tightened his grip on my hand, and then what happened? Then I found out the truth, Noah said, his voice shaking. One day I saw her birth control prescription in the trash. I knew it wasn't a new prescription. She had stopped taking it long ago and kept it a secret. When I confronted her, Sophia didn't even apologize. She laughed, called me a coward, and said I was too scared to be a... Father Mark took a deep breath, his jaw clenched. That's when I decided to file for divorce, not because I didn't want kids, but because I couldn't stay with a woman who would lie and manipulate me using a child that didn't even exist. Sat there stunned. Every word Noah said cutting deeper into my mind. Eva never said any of this. I murmured, a chill running down my spine. She always told everyone that you left her because you didn't want kids. Noah let out a dry, bitter laugh. She didn't want people to know she was the one who tried to manipulate me, so she made me the bad guy, the man who refused to be a father and abandoned her in her time of need. Nathan shook his head, his eyes filled with anger. She's been manipulating everyone, including Emily's family. Exactly, Mark nodded. Ava is an expert at turning a story into a drama where she's always the victim. And I let her keep playing that role for 3 years. I felt like I was sinking into a dark abyss. Everything was starting to make sense. Ava hadn't just ruined her own marriage. She had deliberately manipulated everyone to turn me into the villain. Ava once told me that I was the reason you left her, I said, my voice shaking. She told everyone that I seduced you and made you change your mind? Mark frowned. That's a blatant lie, Emily. I never thought of you that way. We never even had a deep conversation. She's just trying to blame someone else instead of facing the truth. About herself, Nathan turned to me, his eyes full of concern. Do you know what? This means Emily. I took a deep breath, feeling the coldness spread through my body. Ava hadn't just ruined my wedding. She had carefully constructed a web of lies to cover up the fact that she was the real betrayer in her own marriage. A week after the shocking conversation with Noah, I still couldn't shake the storm of thoughts swirling in my head. His words kept replaying like a broken record. Ava deliberately stopped taking her birth control to trap her husband. She created a tragic story to make everyone feel sorry for her, while I was painted as the ruthless sister who destroyed her life. Nathan tried to reassure me, but I knew the storm was far from over, and I was right one morning as I was sitting at the dining table. My phone rang. It was Grace. Hi, Emily. Her voice was gentle, but there was a strange undertone. I just wanted to check in and see if you're okay. Of course, Mom, I said, frowning. Why did something happen? Well, Grace hesitated this morning. I received a message from Sophia. She said you blocked her number and refused to talk to the family. She's worried about you and said you're very stressed and might not be healthy enough to take care of the baby. It felt like a bucket of ice water had been dumped over my head. Ava said that she also sent me a long text about what happened in her marriage to Noah. Linda continued, her voice calm but laced with suspicion. She said that Noah cheated on her and that you sided with him instead of your own sister. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms until it hurt. Mom, that's a complete lie, Mark. Didn't cheat on Sophia. Ava stopped taking her birth control without telling him. Linda was silent for a long moment. Then she sighed. I believe you, Emily, but Sophia is spreading very different stories, and she's not just reaching out to me. A chill ran down my spine. What do you mean? She contacted your landlord, Grace said. Ava pretended to be your sister and told her that you're having serious psychological issues and might not be able to keep up with the rent payments, she claimed. You're mismanaging Liam's money and might need a guardian. My breath caught in my throat. Was Sophia really trying to make me look like someone unstable, untrustworthy, and incapable of taking care of myself? As soon as I hung up the call, a message from my landlord popped up on the screen. Caroline, I just got a call from Sophia. She said you're having financial problems and might not be able to pay rent. I just wanted to confirm with you, is everything okay? I threw the phone onto the table, my heart pounding. Ava was deliberately trying to destroy everything I had built. She wanted to turn me into a mentally unstable, unreliable mess who couldn't handle her own life, Nathan. I called out. He rushed into the room, his eyes filled with worry. Ava contacted the landlord and your mom. She's telling them that I'm losing control, that I'm unstable and can't take care of the baby. Liam came over and gripped my shoulders firmly. You won't let her destroy you again. I'm calling my mom and the landlord right now. That's not all, I said, my voice trembling. Ava also told your mom that Noah cheated on her and that I sided with him. She's trying to make me look like the reason her marriage fell apart. Nathan clenched his jaw. She won't stop until you lose everything. You have to do something, Emily. You can't stay silent anymore. Nathan pulled out his phone and immediately called Grace to set the record straight. He explained everything. What Noah had revealed, Sophia's lies, and how she was trying to ruin my reputation. While Liam was talking, I sank down onto the chair, exhaustion washing over me. Ever since I got pregnant, I'd been trying to avoid stress for the baby's sake, but now Sophia was dragging me into her chaos, determined to pull me down. With her, after Liam hung up, he turned back to me, his expression serious. My mom believes you, but you need to act fast if Sophia is pretending to be you and contacting the landlord who knows what else she might try. You need to protect yourself and the baby. I took a deep breath. Nathan was right. Ava had crossed every line, and I couldn't stay silent any longer. I'm contacting a lawyer, I said firmly. I'm sending a legal warning to Sophia and my parents if they keep interfering in my life. I won't hesitate to take legal action for harassment and defamation. Nathan squeezed my hand. I'm with you every step of the way, Emily. You're not alone. I leaned my head against his shoulder, my eyes closed, but my mind was still spinning. Ava was determined to make me the villain in everyone's eyes, but this time I wouldn't let her win, not anymore. A week after Sophia contacted my landlord and mother-in-law, I decided I couldn't stay silent anymore. I went to meet with a lawyer who helped Liam and me draft a formal cease and desist letter. I sat in the lawyer's office, my hands gripping the edge of the chair so tightly that my knuckles turned. Right beside me, Liam held my hand, his eyes firm and resolute. Caroline, the lawyer said, sliding the letter across the desk. We've covered all the bases. This letter will demand that Sophia and your parents cease all harassment immediately. If they continue to contact you, your landlord, your in-laws, or anyone else, we will proceed with stronger legal action. I nodded, signing my name on the letter without hesitation. This was the first time in my life that I was standing up to Sophia and my parents. I had allowed them to manipulate me for far too long, but now I wasn't just protecting myself, I was protecting my unborn child. After sending the warning letter, I decided to change my phone number. I also informed the landlord and everyone around me that if anyone claiming to be Sophia or my parents tried to contact them, they were to notify me. Or the lawyer immediately. I wasn't giving them any more chances to meddle in my life. Nathan also installed a security camera system around the house. We set up a monitoring app on our phones to ensure that no one could approach. Without being seen, the sense of safety slowly started to return, but I still couldn't shake the feeling that Sophia wasn't done yet. One evening, as I lay on the sofa, my hand gently rubbing my belly, Liam walked into the living room. He handed me a glass of fresh orange juice and sat down beside me. Are you feeling any better? He asked, his eyes filled. With concern, I let out a deep sigh. I still feel like there's a heavy weight on my chest. I don't understand why Sophia hates me this much. She had everything. Our parents love everyone's attention, but she still can't stop attacking me. Nathan gently squeezed my hand. Sophia was never satisfied with what she had. She always wanted more, even if it meant stepping on others to get it. But this time you did the right thing. You stood up for yourself. Tears welled up in my eyes, but she's still my sister. I once loved her so much. I once wanted to share everything with her, the good and the bad, but now she feels like a complete stranger. Nathan pulled me into his arms. You've done everything you could now. It's time for you to focus on your real family, me, and our soon-to-arrive baby. Close my eyes, listening to Liam's steady heartbeat for the first time in years. I felt like I had control over my own life. No more threatening calls from Sophia, no more accusations from my parents. The next day, I received a message from the lawyer. Ava had responded to the cease and desist letter. The content was brief. Ava has received the letter and stated she will not contact you again. I put the phone down and leaned back in the chair, feeling as though I had finally awakened from a long, haunting nightmare. In the days that followed, my life started to regain some sense of normalcy. Nathan took me to my prenatal checkup, and the doctor confirmed everything was fine. I was carrying a baby boy. When I heard the steady heartbeat echoing through the ultrasound monitor, I broke down in tears. This child would never have to live under the manipulation and resentment that I once did. Nathan held my hand, his eyes brimming with tears too. You've done so well, Emily. From now on, it's just peace and happiness, I smiled. Looking down at my growing belly, sweetheart, I promise to protect you at all costs. You will never have to endure what I did that evening as Liam. And I lay in bed. I felt gentle kicks from my belly. The baby was moving, reminding me that I had fought through every storm to keep him safe. Nathan stroked my hair, his voice soft against my ear. Do you have any regrets? I looked up. At the ceiling, the memories flashing through my mind. The tear-filled wedding day, Sophia's baseless accusations, and my parents' relentless efforts to force me to sacrifice for my sister. No, I said firmly, I don't regret a thing, because in the end I found myself again, and I found my real family. Nathan kissed my forehead gently. I'm so proud of you, Emily. Outside the window, the bolder sky was dotted with glittering stars. I closed my eyes, listening to the wind whispering against the glass. Ava and my parents were no longer a part of my life, but that no longer mattered. I had Liam, I had our soon-to-arrive baby, and most importantly, I had myself a woman who had learned to stand up and protect herself. No longer suffocated by manipulation and lies. That was the true freedom. Caroline's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes our own family can be the source of our deepest wounds and heartbreaks. Betrayed by her sister and parents, she was forced to choose between continuing to endure their toxicity or standing up to protect herself and her new family. With courage and determination, Emily cut all ties with those who sought to manipulate and destroy her. she learned to set firm boundaries, protect her peace, and prepare to welcome her child into a safe and loving environment. What do you think about Emily's decision to cut ties with her family to protect her own happiness? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to follow the channel for more emotional family stories.